It's a century since the Titanic sank, but it's the ship that's launched 1,000 movies, books, documentaries and exhibitions. These days, what's the state of the wreck itself? David Gallo is a marine archaeologist with the organisation that discovered the wreck of the Titanic in 1985. He's been forensically studying the ship's remains in 3D, and on a visit to Adelaide, he spoke to Mike Sexton.
To see these images of Titanic, it's breathtaking. At the same time, it's very moving and powerful because looking at the boat deck where you know that people said goodbye to their loved ones is also very powerful. So it's a very sobering experience at the same time. So you alternate, your emotions are stretched in every way.
Oceanographer David Gallo's most recent visit to the Titanic was to begin the most detailed archaeological survey ever conducted of the wreck.
It's showing its age. It's actually being eaten bit by bacteria, so the hull itself is eroding away. There are places where it looks like it's a very bad state, where you could put your fist through a bulkhead. There are other places where it looks like it's in great shape. So one of the things we're trying to understand is, from a scientific point of view, is just how long will this ship still be around? Will the hull, the integrity of the hull, is it good for 10 years, 20 years, 100 years? What are we talking about? So that's one of the goals that we have, is to assess that. But it's showing its age.
Because the Titanic lies 4 kilometres below the surface of the North Atlantic in pitch darkness, where the pressure is 400 times that at sea level, David Gallo's developed equipment that can handle such extreme conditions. The robots mapped an area 3 kilometres by 2 kilometres to try to record every sized piece of debris.
We found many big pieces between the bow and the stern, so that adds a little bit more to the story. We also found, and we knew, that there was a debris field that contains tens of thousands of objects, everything from bits of the ship, lights, ladders, benches, to personal effects, suitcases, hats, shoes. So that debris field in that 3 by 2 kilometer area is just full of artifacts, and what we need to know, what we want to know, is how to work that area like an archaeologic site. Where is everything? What state's it in? So we can then begin to think about how do you manage it at the bottom of the ocean.
That all those pieces will remain on the seafloor represents a shift in the way the wreck is being treated. The company that owns the salvage rights, RMS Titanic, has previously collected artefacts for lucrative touring exhibitions, something that initially didn't sit well with the scientific community that believed the gravesite should not be touched or exploited.
We spoke out against salvaging from Titanic. Over the years, our position has changed a bit because we do recognize that the public had an incredible interest in seeing the artifacts, and if it was done in the right way, that it was probably something that was okay as long as documentation happened, as long as it wasn't a purely commercial enterprise. The most recent expedition was actually funded by RMS Titanic Inc. because they now see our way as well, that it's important to document these sites and treat it as an archaeologic site.
Has the Titanic got any more stories to give us?
I hate to use this phrase, but I will. We've just touched the tip of the iceberg with Titanic. We still don't know exactly how it went to the bottom. We know it hit an iceberg. We know it filled up with water. We know it sank. But how exactly did it do that? How did it break in half?
Ultimately, the high-definition 3D imaging of the wreck will be the basis for a website, what David Gallo calls a virtual raising of the Titanic.
One of my dreams has always been that people should not have to look over my shoulders or Bob Ballard's shoulders or James Cameron's shoulders to explore. I want them to have that experience for themselves. And it's tough to do. We can't take everybody in the submarine. We certainly can't take everybody on the ship. But with the right kind of technology, we can duplicate everything that we see out there at sea. And they'll see things and think of things that we've never thought of ourselves, and I think that's been my goal, is to turn loose and to share with the public this power of exploration and discovery.